Hey everyone, so tomorrow we have a really special day. We have got the new moon in Libra. We also have an eclipse going on as well, which is super exciting. So there's going to be some really fucking epic energy going on. If you happen to be on Easter Island around about 5 or 6 o'clock GMT, you will see a beautiful ring of fire. We're not gonna see anything here. Surprise, surprise. In fact, the next solar eclipse we're going to see here is in 2090 when I will be 111. So I really, really hope I get to see that. So let's pull this apart a little bit. What does it all mean? So we've got the new moon in Libra, which is an air sign. It's all about balance. It's about winds of change. We've also got the eclipse going on, which again is all about change, often very much about our soul contract here, but this particular eclipse is all about relationships. So this is relationships with our loved ones, romantic relationships. It is relationships with our family, our friends, our work colleagues, and most importantly, it's the relationships with ourselves. You know, this is really fucking important. This is, you know, we are with ourselves our whole life. We don't get to take a break. So it's really so important that we really focus on developing and nurturing our relationship with ourselves. And if we think about how we work with the energy of the new moon, this is about really taking that pause, going into the void, spending a bit of time really feeling into what we want. So this is a great time for us to kind of almost zoom out, to zoom out on our relationships. And we're really looking at balance here because Libra is all about balance. So is what I have coming in equivalent to what is going out? Am I being nourished or am I being depleted? So it's a great opportunity to really kind of take that, like zoom out like this, zoom out and really observe what's going on in your life. Now, we might have found that in this waning phase of the moon, we might have found that stuff's been bubbling up. We might have found that some stuff that needs to be released might have been released or even just kind of shown itself. So like for some people it's been a tender time. I'll be honest with you, for me it's been a really tender time, and I've been kind of sitting with that. And this is what's really important in this phase, is that it's a really cool beetle on the floor, in this phase, that we're not pushing stuff away. So when we look at the balance in our lives and we see, like in particular, our relationship with ourselves. So if we think about ourselves, we've got, and actually in all relationships, but we have the light and the dark. You know, we've got the light, the shadows, we have the yin and the yang, we have the feminine and the masculine within us. So when we look at this and we observe this, can we allow it all to be there? Can we allow ourselves to be this fucking messy human being that we are? Because that's what human beings are. And so it's about, can we honour all parts of ourselves, like the shadows, the parts of us that might get jealous or feel unworthy, or whatever it is that is perhaps the parts of you that you don't want to feel, that we often numb out, or we go and I know some people binge watch on Netflix. I don't really watch TV, but you know, for me, it's like if I need to escape, I will go for a run. It's how do we not do that? How do we really allow ourselves to be in all of it, even if it's fucking difficult? Because that's what we're here for. You know, this isn't about avoidance. This is about having this full human experience, which can be really fucking difficult and can be really fucking joyful. You know, and this is where we have the balance. You know, we have the joy and we have the sadness, we have the love, and then we have the despair, or whatever it might be. And it's about holding ourselves in wholeness, allowing both sides of that to be there. So I'm not saying sit and wallow in a pit of despair here. I'm saying be really observational and really present with what's going on for you. Allow it all to be there. There's a beautiful Buddhist teaching, the Sutra of the Two Arrows, which is about, we're all struck by the arrow of suffering, and all human beings experience this and we can't avoid it. And, you know, it hurts, fucking hurts. But then we're also struck by a second arrow that hits us in exactly the same spot where it's already inflamed and really painful. And that's our arrow of avoidance. And so the story goes, or the theory of the story is that we're actually, you know, the arrow of avoidance is about doing exactly what I was saying, the binge watching Netflix, or internet shopping, or running, or I don't know, whatever else might be your thing. when we do all of that, actually only 10% of our suffering comes from the first arrow, 90% comes from the second arrow. And then actually there's a third arrow which got added later on, which is the arrow of shame, which is the arrow that says we shouldn't be feeling like this. So this is a great time for us to have that reflection of balance in our lives, but honouring what's there. So we, as always, we have the power to shift that. You know, we have the power to set our intention and to move forwards however we want to. We have a choice. And often that choice isn't necessarily what's happening to us, it's about the way in which we relate to what's happening to us. So how can we work with this then? This season is very much about, I love this season. So this is about going within. This tipping into the darker side of the year, we've just gone past the equinox. And as we move towards the winter solstice, it's actually my favourite time of year because it's a time of going into like the womb cave of Mother Earth, into the really deeply feminine side of things. This is actually an invitation to embrace your dark feminine, if anybody's interested in kind of working in that darker energy. But it's a time for healing, it's a time for reflection, it's a time for hunkering down and nourishing ourselves and also planting our seeds for what we want to create in the future. So I would invite you this new moon, this eclipse, to really focus on what it is you want to bring into your life up until the winter solstice and beyond. You know, it doesn't have to be just to the winter solstice, but it's a helpful time frame. So how do I want my relationship to be with myself? Do I want to have a more loving relationship with myself? Do I want to embrace those shadow sides of me? Do I want to have better relationships with other people? Is there anything that I can do to heal my relationships with other people? Or actually, do I want to bring new relationships into my life? This is a fucking awesome time to manifest a new relationship. I mean, if you think about it, we've got the eclipse energy, we've got the new moon, we've got the new beginnings. So what I would invite you to do here, okay, is be really specific if that's what your intention is. Write down everything you want in a new relationship. So you want somebody to be emotionally available. You want them to be, I don't know, you can get really specific on this, you know, like hair colour, eye colour, all that jazz. But obviously focus on the things that are really important to you. Sometimes what can be easier is to focus on the things that we don't want. So like, I don't want somebody who is emotionally unavailable. So therefore I want somebody who's emotionally available. I don't want somebody who is, I don't know, addicted to gambling. So therefore we have somebody who is, you know, financially stable and all that stuff. Excuse me. So we can get really specific on it. And how do we then bring that into being? Well, even by writing it down, we're setting our intention. And this is what is so powerful in this work. It's our intention. It's what we desire. And when we can link our desires with seeing that in the future and also our energy, that's what shifts stuff, because when our energy shifts, everything else shifts around us. So how can you work with this new moon? I'm probably going to do some candle magic. So I'm going to really feel into my intention. What do I want to create in my life? What do I want to bring in? Can I see what that looks like in the future? Like, what does that look like for me in this new relationship, or this shift in my relationship, or whatever dynamic I want to create, or perhaps that's my relationship with myself. What do I want that to look like? And I see it in the future, and I see myself there, and I feel all the feels. I feel the energy that I'm going to feel when I'm there. Perhaps I feel unconditionally loved. Perhaps I feel stable and safe, really important one. Perhaps I feel emotionally supported, whatever it might be. See it happening, seeing it around you, and feel what it feels like, and really embrace that, embody that in your whole being. And then I like to give it colour. So if that had a representation in a colour, what colour would you give it? Like, would you give it pink? Would you give it gold? Would you give it green? Whatever energy you feel you want to give that, excuse me, that image. And then we bring that into our heart space. Like, we bring it into our heart space, we feel all the feels. If you're working with candle magic, hold the candle next to your heart. Really infuse it with our heart energy. And what we're going to do is imagine that this colour, whatever it is that we've brought in, is like beaming out from us like the sunshine, like a really fucking huge sunshine, and it's going to beam out to the ends of the universe. And we're infusing our candle with that intention. And then as we light our candle, that is like us lighting the spark of our intention. That's like we're going, hey, I really want to bring this into being. And when our candle then, either if you use little candles, the candle either snuffs out, burns out, or you snuff it out yourself, that is when it sends that signal out to the universe. So be it, so may it be, it's done. And then you just wait. You don't micromanage, you don't force anything, you just be really super open to whatever it is that you want to bring in. And the universe will sort it all out, always does, when you're ready for it. So this is another thing, maybe there's more lessons to be learned, maybe there's more healing to do before something can come into your life. But just trust that all will be well. So how does that sound? How does that land with you? Have a feel into your relationships. Have a zoom out and see what's there. And I invite you to do it in a really loving way. This is all about self-care. This is all about nurturing and nourishing ourselves and allowing ourselves to be the beautiful soul that we are, knowing that there's nothing wrong and we are exactly where we're meant to be in life at the moment. So I would love to hear your experience of doing this. I'd love to hear your stories. I'd love to hear if you have any other practices that you're doing today. Maybe you can inspire us, or today or tomorrow. Maybe you can inspire us and give us some inspiration. And sending you loads of love.